You're listening to the Hookit podcast, brought to you by hookitproducts.co.uk.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Getting size going big.
Going huge.
And I was like, guys was just like flying over me, looking like my head couldn't move fast enough. Woo! Like really, like, you know, really insane that was like. It's so crowded, but just good fitting and just like people flying all the time.
Love it.
We're going streaky! Yeah!
Ho, ho, ho! It's almost Christmas, and we are back with episode number 15 of the Hookit podcast. I always like to start these podcasts off by saying a huge thank you. The last episode was insane with Duncan Philpott. It's had tons of shares. The reviews have been going crazy on iTunes as well, and I really appreciate it. So thank you everyone out there who listens, who does give us some feedback, who does give us a like and a share, and feedback on iTunes. That stuff's really important. And it was really cool as well to see this week. I went on iTunes and I went on the bike section, and there it is, the Hookit podcast. It's actually showing in the bike section, which apparently is kind of tough to make it do that. It shows that people are listening and engaging with the podcast. So again, thank you so much. It means a bunch. If you can continue doing it though, it would also mean a bunch. So please give us a review, a like, anything you can do. It does all really, really help. And we are trying to boost the social media side of the podcast too. So if you can give us a like, it's at the Hookit podcast over on Instagram, and on Facebook it's the Hookit podcast. And again, it really helps just to have a good following, get everyone together, have a bit of banter on there as well. So please head over and give us a follow if you can. This episode of the podcast was awesome. I really, really enjoyed sitting and chatting with Lewis Buchanan. His story's quite enlightening. It's inspirational. What he did to get himself a ride for 2016 was really cool, and I think everyone out there is going to really enjoy this insight into Lewis and his life and his whole demeanor and what he does. It's pretty cool. So I'm not going to hold this thing up too much, but I do want to say quickly, we are going to do a bank holiday giveaway. Well, no, we're going to do a Boxing Day giveaway. Boxing Day is pretty tough. You've got a food hangover. You probably alcohol hungover too. So we're going to do a giveaway, and we are going to give away one of the new Hurly Burly books, which Duncan was talking about on the last podcast. It's a collaboration project with him and a few other photographers, including Sven Martin. It's a book which is basically a rundown of the 2016 downhill series. A bunch of photos in there which are amazing. I've held the book. It's really, really cool. So we're going to give a copy of that away on Boxing Day. So make sure you keep an eye on the social media. Again, at Hookit Products on Facebook and Instagram. Keep an eye on that, and we'll be doing that at some point in the evening when you're chilling, watching films. You can win some swag. So let's get on with the episode. Again, it was really cool to sit and chat to Lewis. So welcome to the show, Lewis Buchanan. All right, Lewis, we are officially live and recording. So welcome to the Hookit podcast.
Awesome, thank you. It's good to be on. I've listened to a couple of your ones with Brayton and Danny.
Brayton, we're not had Brayton on yet.
Not had Brayton on yet?
No, had Danny.
I've listened to so many podcasts.
Nah, I feel you, man.
It was with the Descent World one.
Yeah, they did Brayton. I need to reach out and speak to those guys, actually. I know they've just started a podcast, and I'd like to try and do something. We'll see. But a few people have mentioned to me, Descent World have started one, I'm like, yeah, who cares? Like, there's plenty of space, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing you've got going, because like I said, I religiously listen to the most motocross podcasts, and it's definitely a good way to get out to fans and just a bit more of an insight, really, than reading an interview online, really.
No, I agree totally. That's ultimately the reason I wanted to start this. I kind of, going back a while, like, we can get into this again, but, going back a few years, I had the idea of starting one, but I've just literally not had time to make a start on it. And then kind of found a few spare hours in the week to do an episode, and but it's been weird. Like, it's grown so much. I know I said to you on the phone, but it's crazy how much this thing's grown. It's overwhelming at sometimes. Kind of scary because I've still got an actual day job, I guess. Running a company. Sure. But it's crazy. But definitely stoked that Descent World have started one. The more the merrier, if you ask me. Like, it's all about working together as well. I don't know if you heard, there was a main event moto, I know you listened to that, where I think they had Kenny, I can't remember his name, Kenny Watson on, and he'd started a podcast called Inside the Rut, I think. Yeah, and I kind of liked how they had him on, and they were like, look, there's plenty of space, just let's help each other out, and let's help each other's podcast grow, so kind of wanted to reach out to those guys and see what we can do. But anyway, so I always like to first kick off by letting you give yourself a bit of a brief introduction, if that's okay. So basics, man, who you are and kind of where you're from and what you do.
22 years old. I'm from Scotland. I live in Leithen, so pretty much right in dead centre where you want to be for riding bikes, really. Started racing when I was 11 years old, so been doing it for a fair bit now. Started at downhill level at a national level, and pretty much every single year that went on, I either got a better bike or something that helped me progress to that next level, and I never had, if I'm honest, I never had any ambitions of getting to the stage that I'm at. It just kind of progressed, and I guess with hard work and a bit of training and living where I do, it's everything was kind of there, and
Would you
eventually.
Say, you're from a cycling background or anything like that? Do your parents ride or anything?
Oh no, we used to stay in Edinburgh, but just because of the city and it's real hectic and quite busy, we wanted to move somewhere that was just a bit more quiet and out of the way. And there's no background in our family from riding bikes, so it basically got kick-started when I moved here. So
you're not. Did you ride motor or anything beforehand, or have you always just got straight into mountain biking?
Always just straight into mountain biking.
Okay.
It was football before that.
Was it? It's all right, mate. We all have to do that. We all go through that stage, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I always have a joke with my dad. My dad, when you play football at school level and all that sort of stuff, my dad was actually our manager. He knew nothing about football, absolutely nothing. But it turns out that have you heard of Gary Cahill? He plays for England.
I haven't.
Okay, well, Gary Cahill plays for England, and I think, oh man, I don't even know who else. Maybe Chelsea. But I always make a joke that my dad was his manager. he played on the same team. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, we all go through the football thing. I think.
For sure.
So, got a mountain bike or a BMX something at 11, and kicked off a racing career.
Basically real bog standard Halfords edition bike, and then I guess each year I got a new bike, and then it would, when I hit 12, 13 years old, I started getting support just from local bike shop or discount support, which is when you're that age, it's you're proper stoked and anything helps.
For sure. Some free stickers and you're pumped.
Yeah, for sure. And then, after once I got into a few years of it, I started winning a bunch, and then I guess I finished my last year in youth when I was 15, and then got a pro contract from Evil and signed with them, and then I was racing World Cups when I was 16 years old, so wow. That was pretty crazy.
Am I right in thinking you're one of the youngest qualifiers ever for a World Cup?
I think myself, Brendan, and maybe Josh, I think.
Okay.
So first year on the World Cup circuit as a junior was crazy, and I had some of my best results ever in downhill in my first year junior. But
so was that 2009 sort of time?
2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you qualified. Hang on. I looked at your results earlier actually.
Okay.
Was it Fort William? Was a really good result. Yeah. Came in.
Yeah. Fort William was pretty decent. But I more had like a bit of a push towards the end of the season. It was pretty mad, like some top 15s and overall. So that was mad for me.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Am I right in thinking then you went to the college up that way, the mountain bike college? Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
okay.
I was on it for the first year and a bit that they had it, so everything was still quite fresh and nothing was really set in stone. But as far as helping me get to a good level, and it was definitely a good choice to go.
For people out there then who maybe don't quite understand what it is that we're talking about, and I've not been fully clear, I'll be honest with you, because I don't quite understand it myself, so you can probably tell me. So it's like a mountain bike college, is that right? Called
it's
Base?
Base mountain bike course.
Uh-huh.
Andy Barlow, who's one of the dirt school coaches, takes the students, and basically, I mean, I've seen the riders that are on the course when they start to how they come out of it, and there is a huge difference as far as like sometimes the kids, younger kids that are trying to progress just need a bit of guidance and professional help in a way, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot since I was on it.
Okay.
It's not just riding and it isn't just training. There is written work.
Right, that's kind of what I was going to ask you as well. It's probably not going to be full dream living riding your bike every day.
Yeah.
So written wise, what is it like? Theory of what?
I mean, when I done it, it was learning about the body and basic run through stuff like that. But now, I mean, I don't think I know it well enough to comment on that. I don't want to say something and it might not be what it actually is. But yeah, as far as what I've heard from the students that are on it, they love it. So I would definitely.
Like I said, we've got a mutual friend, haven't we, that sort of went to the same thing, and that's for sure that Joe enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I could tell from his Facebook things at the time he was having a whale of a time. Was young Joe?
Yeah, no, it's good.
But yeah, it sounds like it definitely helped your career though, by the sound of things. Even if it's just learning some basic stuff, it kind of lays a foundation for you to go ahead and continue learning as well, doesn't it? So, yeah,
for sure.
Sounds good. So, qualified for your first World Cup, 2010. On an Evo, and then again, I was looking at your results, and it looks as though heading to Crankworks may have been a good turning point as well, as far as getting deals and getting noticed.
Yeah, that was a crazy week in Whistler. Just as far as like so young and
was that like your first international sort of trip, or?
Well, obviously I had done some World Cups prior to that.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was just the amount of riding that I'd done leading up to that Canadian Open race. It was just what I needed to kind of, I don't know, I guess I rode my bike a lot, and I rode with, I was lucky enough to have amazing teammates, and
so who was on you with this on the Evil team then?
Brooke McDonald,
right,
Luke Strobel, Philip Polk, and Stevie Smith.
Oh, brilliant! Cool.
So yeah, I mean, we all got along so good, and I got picked on because I was the youngest. But it made it sweet when I think there was a couple times I did beat them. But it was
you must have beat him in that race, because I think you were second.
yeah, no, that was insane, and I don't know, I really did not expect that, but I rode good, and I even think G came across the line and he won it, but he was like, "Were you second?" Like, I think he was a bit shocked, like just me being so young. So
new guy on the scene a little bit too, and putting it to him. I looked at the results, like I say, and there's some big names in that, dude. Like, well played, good effort for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess was that like a bit of was it like a turning point in the whole like career, I guess, or?
I'd definitely say it was a confidence booster as far as I think the final round of the World Cup was just after that, and then the World Champs was the following weekend after. So,
Okay.
As far as, I mean, having confidence, it was all in my park, and I still had stiff competition because, you know, Troy was always hot on my heels, and we were always back and forth with switching and swapping results. So yeah, I mean, I guess I just tried to keep the ball rolling as much as I could into the remaining part of the season.
Right. Yeah. For sure. And then obviously that will have helped get the deal put together, I guess, for Chain Reaction Nuke-Proof team in 2011.
Yeah. I think I remember it was at Wyndham World Cup finals, and I think I qualified 13th, I think. And I remember spinning about the car park, and Pagey comes up to me and he says, "What are you doing next year?" And obviously I have really no clue, and I'd never signed anything really in my life or done anything. So, you know, he was like, "We'd like to have you on the team," and I think I pretty much instantly said yes. Like,
there and then.
Yeah, let's do it.
For sure. So
yeah, and once the season finished out, we got that done, and I was stoked to be a part of Chain Reaction, and a few months later I ended up crashing and then dislocating my shoulder, so that was like, I mean, I was on such a high, and then it just kind of came crashing down at a bad time, I guess.
Right. You stayed on that team for quite a while, is that right? Were you on there for a year after, or?
Yeah, 2 years I was with Chain Reaction for. Okay. Yeah.
So you partnered up with Sam as well? At the time,
I think
or not?
No, the year I left, Sam joined.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But still, a good time, definitely, to get on one of those bikes. I mean, did you notice like a huge difference in sort of, I mean, obviously you're getting a wage, I don't know, just does it free up a bit more time as well, and sort of, you know, in regards to like preparation and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, the Evil deal was real good. To be fair, like, I had such good opportunity at Chain Reaction, and, you know, if I'm totally honest, I didn't really, what's the word, I didn't really seize that opportunity and take full advantage of it, you know, when I injured myself.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like a big blow to me, and, you know, I just didn't look after my shoulder enough once I'd injured it.
What were you rushing to get back? And
once I felt like it was good, I rushed back and I raced, and people weren't happy, and probably wasn't a good decision, you know. But like, as the years have went on, I've learned from that, and I enjoyed my.
Definitely important, I think, to take some downtime out after you have injured. But like you say, once you've got a bit of pressure on your shoulders as well, people are obviously going to be expecting results. You rush back, don't you, to get things done? But in hindsight, you take a few more months off maybe. And
but I definitely enjoyed my time there, and Pagey believed in me, and I mean, I really did enjoy my time there, and had a good mechanic, good teammates. They were all, you know, we all gelled super well together. But it was a bit of a, for me, as far as result wise, it was quite a dull. You know, I had some flashes of good results, and then, you know, others that were just real mediocre and just kind of average, to be honest.
Probably the worst thing as a rider is when you don't feel like you're living up to your own expectations. I know, even with my riding career, you can really get down on yourself, can't you?
Yeah,
for sure. You gotta not. Definitely. So as far as like from 2011 to sort of like where you are now, and obviously the decision you made recently, has there been any sort of major steps sort of leading up to that, would you say? I know I've been kind of vague with that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of space there, a lot of years to sort of cover.
Yeah, I mean, so 2013 I pretty much went privateer. A bike shop gave me a bike, which super thankful of, because I had nothing there, and, you know, I don't expect anybody to come along and sign me, you know, if I'm mid-pack.
single track bikes, I believe, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I know those guys.
fairly local to myself, so it was ideal. And then 2000 and what year? 14, 15. Man, there's a lot of years to cover, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, basically. So my final year of racing downhill was with Banshee.
Okay.
And for me, that was sort of like, if it doesn't work this year, then I'm pretty much calling it quits, you know. So I gave it, you know, I tried hard in the off season, and yeah, I mean, everything seemed good, and I had a good start to the year, but then just as the year went on, I honestly got burnt out.
Right. Okay. What? Just
Physically
travels?
and
okay.
Physically, mentally. Yeah, I mean, I just was not really enjoying it. I felt like I was always, you know, like trying my hardest, and maybe the trying too hard was the cause of,
yeah,
you know, not having the results I wanted.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, basically when the final World Cup of the year in Val d'Isole, in qualifying, I tried my heart out, like raced as hard as I could, and I think I crossed the line and I was like 130th or something.
Okay.
And I just thought, like, that, I've never ever had a ride like that. I've never rode as hard as I could and felt good and crossed the line and, you know, never qualified or been that far down anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it was just the last, you know, I was, at the time I said, right, that's it, you know, I'm packing it in.
Okay. The straw that broke the camel's back almost was just like,
it was, and I didn't think at the time I was throwing the towel, like, you know, throwing the dummy out the pram, but it was just how it was, and it seemed like it was such a prolonged thing throughout the year, and I just thought, you know what, like, maybe it's just time to leave the downhill and, I don't know, go and get another job, or, you know, I didn't quite know what was next at that stage.
Yeah. It's fair enough. So
yeah,
let's draw a line under the downhill right there then.
yeah, for sure.
And move on to the gritty stuff. So
yeah,
enduro. Obviously, the main question I have is, I mean, I've got sort of written down why the switch, but you've kind of just given a really good explanation why the switch. I mean, is there anything else you can sort of shed any light on as to why you decided, right, I'm going to go enduro and not get a job as working at McDonald's or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the main reasons is kind of what I've explained, just as far as I was really, I was going to say, I was bored of downhill, just personally, in my opinion. I never really rode my bike much at home, and you know, when I did get back from Val d'Isole, I had an enduro bike, and I took the opportunity to ride it and get out more and enjoy it. And then I raced the final round of the Scottish Enduro Series and just kind of thought, I'll do it for fun, see what happens.
And you won it.
Yes. Yeah, and I won that. So obviously, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm pretty sure I would just, you know, even if I didn't win, I would still say I enjoyed it. It was awesome fun.
Definitely helps, I think, if you give it a shot for the first time, I guess, the first official race, and take the W, it's going to help you in it. It kind of helps make the decision, that's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I just, you know, I enjoyed winning it, but I enjoyed riding my bike, and I almost found like a new, I guess, my passion was back for riding, really. Like, I love being out on my bike for hours and hours and hours and hours, like doing lots of trails, not just one track, 6 runs a day down it, and boom, you go home. So that's really what appealed to me with the enduro side of it. But nothing else drove me to making that switch other than just wanting to really find a different challenge and a new, you know, and get the passion back for riding, really.
So up until like at that moment then when you started riding the trail bike, there was no sort of deal on the cards or anything like that? You were just doing it because you enjoyed it, or? Yeah,
I mean, nothing. You know, switching over to enduro never even crossed into my mind, even when I was when I thought about signing up for that Scottish Enduro. It was just I wanted to see what it was about and have a dip my toe in it really and see what happened.
Right. Okay. The toe got dipped and came out with a W. It's pretty
yeah.
Pretty rad. Good. It's awesome. So I guess a few people may have seen the results from there, and is that what sort of led to you becoming a BMC rider?
Nothing came of that result.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, raced it, and I was still up in the air what I was going to do. As far as 2016.
Although it's just, I'm going to say just a national win. A national? Would you call it a national? It is a national.
Scottish.
Okay, so Scottish. I mean, still the quality of rider you guys have got up there, it's still a big deal, really. You beat some awesome guys, people that have probably been doing it a little while longer too.
Yeah.
So to say that people didn't take notice, I think it's probably a little bit of an underestimation, because no doubt people do look at the results and go, shit, he's not done one of these before, and he's just killed it. I think you won by like 30 odd seconds or something too. Yeah.
I mean, maybe so, but as far as people, giving me a call or an email, nothing.
It's pretty dry.
Nothing came through. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean, after that, it was still up in the air, and basically, I'll just run a quick rundown of what happened. I was in the local cafe in Innerleithen, and a guy that I've worked with before, when I was racing downhill, doing sort of fitness testing at Napier University in Edinburgh.
Okay.
Guy that I worked with back then bumped into me, and he sort of said, "Oh, what's going on for next year?" And I said, I don't know. And he said, "You ever thought about enduro?" And I'm pretty sure I laughed, just because I know that the enduro is gnarly, and it's it involves so much fitness, so much cardio, and so much more than just one run down the hill, that I thought there's no way I could hack the training or anything like that. But he said, "Look, think about it." So I thought about it, and I guess after winning the Scottish Enduro, that was a little bit of a motivator as well. So yeah, I mean, as soon as he said that, I pretty much thought about it for a couple of days and sat my mum and dad down and said, "I think I'm going to do enduro. I'm going to give it a go."
Right.
And I think they themselves, and I know that a lot of other people thought I was a bit crazy.
Okay. Slightly off topic. I mean, I'm guessing your parents are quite supportive of what you did anyway as a downhill rider.
Yeah.
So that there was no sort of I don't know, they didn't not understand what you were doing. It was okay. Yeah, we understand that's a growing market and whatever. You probably do quite good at it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, they support me throughout my downhill career, and still do to this. It's endless support from them. But yeah, I mean, it's quite hard to think what their reaction was. I think it was just sort of okay, we need to start figuring out, because you can't pay to go to all these different places and then. So it was basically crunch time to try and find a deal at that point. So that was the next kind of hectic part, to be honest.
Right. Okay. So how did you go about finding a deal? Because there's a lot of people out there who might not understand how these things kind of can come together.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't easy. It was definitely crazy stressful time, and like I say, the guy that had suggested maybe giving enduro a try, he's my trainer now, and pretty ironic how that's happened. So
yeah.
I've been working with him, and at that time when I decided to make the switch, we were few weeks into training for the enduro season, and I had no deal whatsoever, but I was training, just to be ready in case something came along.
Uh-huh.
So I pretty much contacted everybody I could, logged onto the enduro EWS website, and just went through every single team.
Wow. That's cool, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Fair play.
I'm talking to everybody. So, and I mean, I knew it was going to be hard, and a lot of people understandably came back and said, "Look, we can't take a risk because you've only ever done one race," and I totally understood that part for sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, like that people or that teams like invest into their riders and the budgets, and they have to put the money somewhere worthwhile, you know.
Yeah.
So to put it all on me was probably a big ask, but I had to keep trying, you know. So BMC was one of the last sort of, you know, I never knew about the bike brand really until someone said, "Oh, what about this?" So I gave them a try, and it was, you know, fairly reasonable reply that I got, that they were fairly interested, and obviously I was on the edge of my seat buzzing about it, you know, something could possibly happen here, and yeah, we went back and forth through Skype, and got the phone call one morning, and they said they'd be happy to sign me. So it was,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was such, you know, I didn't get my deal done until really, really late. But I can say that when it happened, it's the most excited I've ever been about getting anything, like deal-wise, team-wise. It was just quite a relief. So,
that's awesome, man. That's cool, man. That's inspirational too. I mean, at the end of the day, went out and got it. That's what it's all about, you know. Good work. And so, deal done, bikes delivered, all that sort of stuff. It sounds like it was good that you were already training as well. You know, you're not on the back foot, you know, sat around waiting for it. You know, we could look at Moto at the minute. Dean Wilson, he's riding his tits off. Still no deal, but still doing the damn thing, you know. And I think that's what you've got to do.
For sure.
So yeah, it's inspirational, man. I like what you did. It's good work, and it's good. Obviously, it's good of those guys to step up and give you a ride too.
Yeah,
like you say,
I mean,
it's probably quite a lot of money, you know, as well. That you know, you might not really necessarily realise that the travel costs and everything will just stack up. So putting an extra guy on the team might not look like a lot, but I bet it's got its expenses. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, like I said, it was good for them to step up, and yeah, they took a risk for sure, because I mean, I didn't even know how I was going to do as far as result wise. I did train hard and everything was working right, and all the numbers were good, but you know, you just never know until you race and see what happens.
Yeah. So that was kind of my next question really was, like, you know, your expectations coming into the first round in Chile was, I guess you were just wanting to get the sort of like the first one out of the way, see where you're at, kind of gauge yourself against everyone else, or?
Yeah, I mean, Chile was crazy because I was really nervous kind of leading up to that.
Yeah.
And the team were really laid back about it, and my teammate Francois was, you know, like, "Oh, you have the whole season, you know, you'll improve, and you know, you don't need to come out all guns blazing at this one." And but in my head, I felt like, you know, if I could ride how I know I can and stay upright, then I thought I was with a chance of doing pretty good.
Confident in your preparation as well, really, like feeling fit and healthy, and
yeah, I was 100% confident in my fitness and preparation, but you know, it's just the schedule of the race and how things go, and I had no idea.
Yeah. And I'm guessing the first round too, was that your second ever enduro race?
Yeah, I mean, I did a couple sort of TT stuff in the off season, but as far as something, well, it was my first international thing. So yeah, it was. I mean, it's just such a learning experience. Every single day, I learned something. Not just on the track, but off the track at the apartment that we were staying at. It was just being a sponge basically, and just soaking everything in.
But
so yeah,
a good result in the end, right?
Man, I mean, I was over the moon with it.
Can you imagine? So for anyone who doesn't know, you finished 13th. Overall, which is like amazing, really.
Yeah.
Looking at all the adversity you'd faced in the off season, all that sort of stuff, and obviously coming off injuries and everything, like 13's super respectable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was even for me. It was more that result was more crazy because obviously I'd never raced in an Enduro World Series before, so the number plate I'd been given was mid-50s or something like that. So I was placed pretty much just put in the middle of anyone really. Like I wasn't sort of
seeded or anything.
Yeah, I wasn't seeded. I was just chucked in wherever suited, kind of. I think. So I remember on the first day race, and I knew I was going to potentially catch some people, and I just thought if I catch someone, stay calm, don't force the issue. And I caught 3 or 4 or 5 people on pretty much every single stage, and if I could get past them, I would, but I'd never force it. And I think that was something good for me, because as far as being mature about my decisions, like while I'm racing, I certainly didn't make any stupid decisions or mistakes, and I think I just rode smart. And to get 13th with held up almost on every single stage, and it was just awesome result.
That's
and
awesome, yeah. Do you think that like with the enduro you have got multiple runs, whereas obviously in downhill your head is geared towards you've got one and it needs to be perfect. I guess with the enduro stuff you can kind of maybe not relax as much, but you can afford to make a mistake or two and get it back in the next stage.
I think that's the thing. Like I said, I'm so used to the downhill schedule that it's my opinion on the pace at an EWS is no different to a downhill World Cup pace. So I think the top 10 an EWS pace wise is same elite level as what the World Cup downhill would be.
For sure a lot of them have crossed over as well. You look at the top 10, a lot of them are downhill guys that have moved over. It's not like it's just the enduro guys, is it? So no doubt it's going to be a pretty fast pace out there. But
Chile was awesome, and I felt like I'd almost, what's the word, resurrected, is that word? Like just pretty much got my back on my feet, everything was clicking, and I kind of felt like I was making the steps towards where I feel like I should be. So
came away from that one with a 13th. Everyone's happy. The guys at BMC are probably super excited and stoked that you did that. Top finisher in the team as well. Is that right or not?
Not in that round.
Were you not? Okay.
Francois got me by I think 3 spots or
did
4
he? Okay.
spots or
all right.
something.
Okay. My bad research.
It's all right.
So obviously coming into the second race, bunch of confidence. Was that like the week after, or was there a few weeks break?
It was the weekend after, so back-to-back weekends. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Obviously you came away from that one with a really good result, but was there anything that sort of like changed in between? Was there just an overall feeling of you finally got your head around this stuff, or?
I would say just from racing that one weekend in Chile, I learned so much that I was able to apply for the following weekend. Just because I had an idea of roughly what kind of pacing I could push for, the whole day, or the transition between the stages. I could, I had a rough idea of what that was like. So I had a taster of it, and in a way I knew what to expect. But then Argentina was a whole different world, like completely different tracks, completely different. Everything was just different about that place.
Was it Chile or Argentina that was like super dusty?
Argentina.
Was it? Okay.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah, that Instagram video we shared the other day was bloody awesome, eh?
Yeah, that was probably the wildest moment I've ever had on my bike, but it felt mint, so.
Brilliant. So, totally different tracks, but obviously coming in brimming full of confidence. Came away after the weekend with a 7th, which is insane, super good.
Yeah.
I bet you were pretty stoked after that one.
Yeah, I was. I was happy with it, but.
You feel like you had more in the tank or not?
No, I just how I started off on the first day of racing. I was, I think, 5th on stage 1, 2nd on stage 2. Which placed me like 3rd overall, and then the last stage or stage 3 I had a crash, which put me back to 5th place I think after day 1.
Right. Okay.
So I thought, oh, if I can, podium still in reach, or if I can at least stay top 5, I'll be really happy. I didn't really want to, fade backwards. And then the second day of racing, it was just, the tracks were gnarly. It was hot, not everyone. I mean, I'm sure I wasn't the only one, but I never really rode or trained in that sort of heat before.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I mean, I guess it being my second enduro or second ever EWS, I guess it's all right to maybe fade a little bit. So I did fall back a little bit and had a crash on the last stage. But yeah, as far as 7th, and being, around the riders that I was, with in the result sheet, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'd never even got close to having a result like that in World Cup downhill. So for me, it was something special for sure.
Definitely. No, it's awesome, man. And kind of inspirational, when we've just sat down and gone through the story of, the downhill and all that sort of stuff, and then you get to that, it's like, wow, you're killing it at that stage.
Yeah.
So at that point, I guess you're sitting in 9th in the championship, and then not to dwell, but you got injured.
I mean, just when everything's going, everything just as you could imagine, great, and was feeling it. Just silly. Honestly, it was just a silly crash, and
out riding mountain bike or anything else?
At home. Okay. I can't even really remember how it went, but I just hit my elbow straight off a rock, like a big one, and I just remember lying there with my arm completely numb, and I was with my friend Innes Graham, and he's like, you okay, and I'm like, I'm fine, I think I'm just a bit winded, and I tried to move my arm, and I could not move my arm or my elbow, and then my fingers and my hand went numb, and I think I instantly said something like, that's it, it's over, this year's over, because just the pain that I was beginning to feel was just insane.
And the reality as well.
And it was just,
I've been there when you're laying and you're hurt and you're just like, this is it.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, really, is this happening? And
so were you just out on a regular training ride too, or?
Yeah, it was just standard what I would normally do. So
the thing is, I mean, the guys over at BMC can't have been unhappy at the results so far. I guess that's the silver lining.
They were. I mean, like I said, I had the injury. No matter what the outcome, I remember being in the ambulance, and the guy said, this is only a few weeks out. The injury seems like you're only going to be out for a few weeks. So I'm like, sweet, I'll be back for round 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was in the hospital and had the x-rays, and they came back and said, your elbow's completely snapped in half. You're going to need surgery and you're out for the year. And I was just like, right. It was a hard pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah, are you one of those guys that really listens to their doctors too, or did you just kind of think, nah, I'll be back? Or
I mean, for how my elbow felt, I knew it was seriously bad.
Yeah.
So I was just, accepting what they said, and I wasn't going to go against anything they said as far as rest or, listen to their words. And I guess
the only reason I mention that is because obviously some people don't. I've been around. Obviously, it's quite different, but a lot of speedway riders in my time, and I mean, you got to be pretty much brain dead to jump on one of those bikes anyway. But But yeah, I mean, with those guys, a lot of the time it's right, your wrist's broken. It's kind of like, okay, but will I be in the next heat sort of thing? And not really listen to people and just kind of crack on with it. But I guess when you're trying to prolong your career as well, you do need to listen to the doctors. And I mean, and we sort of mentioned that at the start of this, didn't we? When you rush back to doing things and you end up, doing yourself more harm in the long run.
Yeah, I think with how what the injury was, it was all about being patient. And yeah, I had surgery on it. I've got a plate and some screws in my arm right now. And yeah, I mean, basically, once I got out of hospital, yeah, I mean, I was obviously in a bit of a downer for a while. But I mean, once I got the cast off and I could begin to move it, it was pretty much everything I did was rehab.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even if it was simple things like making a cup of tea, it all counted towards trying to get, you know, some sort of movement back in it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I've definitely listened to my trainer and, you know, seen physio religiously and elbow specialist and all that, and I've done everything right, you know, as far as there's been no rushing back, everything's been timed right, and you know, we've made the correct steps at the correct times. So yeah, I mean, as far as BMC, they've been awesome throughout it. They've just, you know, if I need anything, hit them up. They supply me with a turbo trainer, like just right when I needed one.
Cool.
I needed a road bike. They sent me that straight away as soon as I asked for it. So it was, they were there when I needed them, and they flew me out to, I think it was round 5 or round 6 of EWS in France.
Right. Okay.
So it was good to go out there and see the team and
just hang out.
Yeah, because I was stuck at home for so long, and it was just good to get out and I guess be around everyone again. And yeah, they honestly super like amazing team. Bikes are incredible. So I had a
shout out,
even though even though I only got 2 EWS results for them, I had an awesome year with them, and just a good time. It was good.
Okay, good. Right, I guess that lands us right now then where we are. So 2017. Looking forward, what's going on? Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm in the thick of a pretty heavy training block. So since I've been able to be back on a mountain bike, I've been pretty every single day almost riding. Just
I know every time I've messaged you, you've been out riding, so I can vouch for you.
No, it's been hectic. But I mean, everything seems good.
So working with your trainer?
Yeah, just working away with him, plugging away.
A lot of gym work as well, or?
No, not just mostly a lot of bike time, a lot of intervals, a lot of stuff at home, indoors, like circuit training, and just still with the rehab. To be honest, I don't think the rehab will ever stop on the elbow, just to keep on top of things. But like really looking forward to next year, and there's a lot that's new, but
then what's new? So, bit of a backstory.
Yeah.
Lewis put on his Instagram the other day that he's not with BMC anymore.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say where you are or not? If you're not, please don't worry about it. Let's just
I mean,
different.
Like I said, I had an awesome time with BMC this year, and I just thought it's only the right thing to do to thank them, and especially I don't know. I mean, I think it's really hard to come by a team that will support you 100%, even if you're out for pretty much the full season racing.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. It's tough to come by. That stuff, I think.
So I mean, we are going our separate ways. It's kind of already been said. But on good terms, and they have different ambitions, and I want to stay in EWS, and I want to do what I want to do. So.
So have you got something lined up though? You don't have to say who it is, what it is.
Yeah, no, got something signed and done. So I'm stoked with it. Awesome.
Good for you.
Cheers.
It looks like I say, it's weird because when you go through everything like that and you sort of put it down into almost like a bullet point, like this is what I went through, this is where I'm at. It's kind of crazy to hear that you've got something signed, and personally I wish you all the best, man. It sounds like you're doing the right things. it's kind of inspiring as well, you know. And I hope for everyone out there as well that's listening to this is inspired by your story.
Yeah.
It's rad. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I think it's just, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's you got to work hard. Like, you know, if you work hard and you want it bad enough, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, a good example is, yeah, I came from a downhill background and the skills were there, but I stepped into enduro and had no clue what I was getting myself into. But I learned, like, I listened to people and I trained hard and, you know, started at racing the Scottish Enduro, the one at the end of last year. And I just think, yeah, I mean, the work speaks for itself, you know, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It sounds like some other people have seen that as well and they're willing to back you, which is rad. So,
yeah,
good
for
work,
sure.
buddy.
Cheers.
One thing I wanted to ask you really quickly as well, which is something I've thought of while we've been chatting, is obviously enduro is growing as a discipline and as a sport.
Yeah.
Where do you think it's going to continue growing? Do you think that like downhill is always going to be kind of like the pinnacle of the sport? Because I was chatting to a dealer about this today actually as well, but a bike dealer, by the way, not a drug dealer, but he was sort of saying that although it's a well-respected shop, you know, they never really see a downhill bike through that place, and everyone's buying trail bikes, but downhill is still almost the pinnacle of the sport. It's the Formula One of mountain biking. It's what people tune into on a Sunday afternoon. And I think there's a bit of a limitation with enduro, is that it's going to be really hard to televise properly. I mean, they might figure it out. Don't get me wrong, you know, drones and stuff. But do you think it's going to continue growing, or do you feel it'll sort of hit a level and stay at that for a while?
I think it will continue to grow. I still think it's in its early. I think it's only been going maybe 5 years.
Yeah,
or
I think
the racing side of it has.
Yeah.
I think it will continue to grow every year, whether that's, you know, the level of racing is growing, or bike companies are getting more involved, or there's, you know, sponsors outside of the racing community that are coming in, investing in whatever, you know. I definitely agree that downhill is the Formula One of, you know, mountain biking or the sport as a whole, but and maybe enduro is not spectator friendly as far as watching it live on Red Bull TV or something like that, but
I think it's kind of still got the appeal to go to a live race. I mean, cyclocross is a good example. That's probably really hard to televise, but those guys are pulling huge numbers. A cyclocross event in Germany is insane. It's like a national sport in Germany. So I was just kind of wondering what your thoughts were on it.
I mean, I think so. Every year it'll progress, but like I said, it's in its early stages, and I'm sure it seriously wouldn't put it past me if in a few years, or 3 to 5 years, that maybe we do see some sort of televised or some sort of live streaming thing for maybe not all the rounds, but a round that suits that sort of thing, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, definitely. And
it would be cool to see.
Yeah, it would, for sure. And obviously, for yourself, you're not really considering a move back to downhill, even if there was a solid deal on the table. You're setting this stuff now. Yeah,
I mean, I've been asked that question a lot, and I mean, even if I I know it won't, but even if a good deal was to come along, I wouldn't take it, just because I've been there, and I don't want to possibly get stuck in that rut. Like, I'm happy with the enduro, and I love what it's about, so definitely
good
stay
vibe, man.
here.
Good vibes. Before we get on to some of the listener questions, I've got one little thing I want to ask you. Now, this isn't going to mean anything to 99.9% of the people that are listening, but it's something that I noticed. Okay. I saw you riding some HLTN clothing for a little while.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Well, last year when I was on Banshee, I had a helmet deal through them.
Right.
Helmet deal and basically casual clothing, and done a bunch of lifestyle shots and everything for them, and cool. The brand is super chilled, and it's not really sport, you know, like, it's all about lifestyle with them, and I like that aspect about it.
I think like the reason I wanted to know, just so you know, so you don't think I'm a total weirdo and the people out there that are listening. I'm just a huge Josh Grant fan, and I have been for years.
Right.
I lived in the States for quite a while, and Josh used to live not far away from me.
Okay.
And I've always just had this kind of like comical relationship with Josh Grant and just kind of supporting him. And when I saw it on your helmet, I was like, no way.
Yeah.
So I just kind of figured, I don't know, I just wanted to know if you were still...
No, I was actually going back and forth emailing him last week, just kind of messing about the idea of doing something for this year, or for next year, sorry.
Yeah.
Still unsure, but I mean, something's there. I just got to try and...
Like I say, I'm just a fan. Like I am a bit of a fanboy for Josh Grant. It's not that you got to love backing the underdog sometimes. I love what that guy's doing. And when he came up with the clothing label, I was all over that. I don't really have much of it, if I'm honest with you. There's not really anyone doing it in the UK anymore, I don't think. But
there was, but I mean, I don't know
what's
I don't know what happened.
Maybe you can link us up. We'll see.
So,
all right, that was just filling my own personal question.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right, let's move on to some... we do these listener questions, which are really cool. So basically, we, as you know, we get people just to ask some questions, and they're usually quite interesting and stuff that I wouldn't necessarily think of. So, we need a jingle for this, but I'll just go, listener questions. Like that. It's still really weird to think that we have listeners. I always say this on every episode that I'm like, as if people actually ask questions. But thank you to everyone out there that actually does, send stuff in and want to know stuff. It's really appreciated. So Instagram, we had a guy at Andy.Rain, and he wanted to know, has there been a big change in your training with the switch from downhill to enduro? Also, how do the EWS stages compete to the world? Also, how do the EWS stages compete against the World Cup downhill course?
Good questions.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers, Andy.
Yeah, so thanks, Andy. As far as training, everything completely switched up. Even lifestyle, just everything's like sleeping, eating. It was a big shock to me for sure. If I'm quite honest, when I started the training, I was incredibly unfit.
Really?
It is completely different enduro or training for enduro than it is downhill. Recently I've gone back just to have a look at my numbers from when I started in November last year to my numbers now doing the same stuff, and it is huge difference.
Really? So do you document everything as well, so you can physically go back and look at it?
My trainer that I work with is like, he's super on hands with it, and we can. I mean, I'm talking huge numbers difference, heart rate wise, time wise. It's really hard to describe what type of training, because everyone is different and different things work for different people. And a brief rundown is just basically get as much time in on the saddle as you can, because I mean, you got to practice having your ass in that seat for 6+ hours sometimes. Intervals, sprints, the little stuff like own body weight exercises. But for me, it's mostly been on the bike, big rides, just getting the time in on the seat, really. I feel like there's no better
diet wise. Do you sort of really monitor what you're eating and stuff, or you Scottish are savages up there, man. I once had a pizza with a curry base in Berwick. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, jeez. You get some wild things up here. That's for sure.
God, it's brutal. You fill your camel back up with iron brew and set off.
I think, as far as food, I eat what I feel like I need. I don't have a bad diet, that's for sure, but I just give my body what I feel like it needs at the time, and
I think that's a good way of doing it. Really good, especially if you are in tune with your body and you know what it's doing. You'll know, like, I need to have some salads, or I need some protein, or you just know, like, it's instinctive.
Totally, totally. And Next question was...
It was, how do the EWS stages compete against the World Cup downhill course?
Okay. I would... I mean, it's really hard to say. That's a crazy question. As far as... Coming from like a speed standpoint, I would say that sometimes they're quite similar.
Right. Do you feel that maybe I don't know, man. I don't really know I'm going with that, but like a downhill bike's obviously set up for that all the time. Like it's geared up to go down a hill where obviously you're going to need some climbing and stuff out of your trail bike. Do you feel it's a little bit more twitchy, a little bit more unpredictable?
I would say, the way trail bikes are, I mean, these days, I mean, the BMC is a 29er, and
right.
I raced a Scottish downhill race in Leithen just a couple of weeks before I injured myself, and the competition at an SDA or a Scottish downhill might not be crazy high level, but the races that you get there in elite are some of the fastest guys in Scotland.
Yeah, for sure.
And I ended up getting second to that race and beating some real good World Cup guys on downhill bikes, and I just think that the enduro bikes these days are capable of going down World Cup level stuff.
Yeah, I think most people would agree to be honest.
And the thing is with enduro, it's really hard because it's not just one track. You'll get some tracks that are steeper than some World Cup stuff, or faster, or I think the enduro doesn't have big gaps or huge doubles or big tabletops, like some World Cup stuff does.
Do you think it's a little bit more what downhill kind of should be again?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The Argentina World Enduro had some crazy stages that were. One of them was 6.5 minutes. It's not really, it's long, but it's not the longest that we do. But that was a full blown downhill track.
Right.
Everyone was talking about that, and I'm pretty sure Blenkinsop won that stage.
It's going to favour the downhill guys.
And and I mean, dude, I hope that for as far as spectators and being good for the sport, I hope that the World Cup downhill does go to different venues, in the coming years, and doesn't just stick to the sort of Leo Gang and the basics
stuff.
Yeah. So it'd be awesome to see it expand to places like Argentina or somewhere in South America or somewhere like that,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So they're quite close to a World Cup downhill course.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I would say pretty equal, just minus, huge doubles and stuff and big gaps. But I think enduro has a mix of what World Cup downhill used to be. I know that Sam Hill did the Italian World Enduro, and he said that some of the tracks were just incredible, like proper downhill, like natural stuff. And I think I don't want to speak for him, but I think that's the way he maybe would like to see the sport of downhill going in as well.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sam next year as well on the EWS circuit.
Yeah.
I think he could definitely be up there, that's for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Definitely don't write off Sam Hill in 2017.
No.
All right, next question came from Facebook, and he's now got a nickname, which is Dean the Machine Air.
I like it.
Dean the Machine wanted to know, what's the highlight of your career? And it's a double barrel. Jesus Christ, it's a double barrel one again. So, Dean the Machine, what's the highlight of your career? And who has inspired you most to get to where you are today?
Right. Cheers, Dean the Machine.
Dean's inspired me today.
Yeah, awesome. Good thing getting the questions in.
Thanks, Dean.
So, yeah, highlight of my career. I really enjoyed some of my results in downhill. One that springs to mind is Crankworks.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would honestly, I think Argentina this year. I mean, yeah, it's not a podium, but I mean,
You know what though? The thing is there's like where you were at Argentina. There's more of a backstory, if that makes sense. So you've gone through
yeah.
all that stuff, and then
Yeah,
you arrive.
yeah.
At, been well in the top 10 of an EWS.
Yeah, I would definitely say Argentina, just from like, stepping into something completely unknown to me and finding success pretty much straight away, which it was crazy because it could have went either way. Yeah, I mean, Argentina and Chile are pretty up there, and then I would say, I mean, having a world championship medal is special in junior. But
That's pretty pumping. That's a good one.
Yeah, but
That's good. There's a couple of career highlights. That's what you want.
Yeah, but for sure, I think Argentina definitely takes that one.
Good.
But
And the
hopefully,
second part of Dean the Machine's question was, who has inspired you most to get to where you are today?
okay. I mean, I don't want to say anything cliche or any. I think in the past I've said some rider's name or something like that. I would say there's been a fair few people, to be honest. I mean, inspire. That's really hard. Because I mean, even the guys I race with inspire me, and I look up to them so much.
Yeah.
But then I've had so much helpful and so much good advice throughout my career so far from so many different people that I've taken on board, and it's helped me.
Yeah.
I can't leave that a blank answer.
I'm not gonna let you.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, I'm going to say that my dad, or just my family, really, because I mean, I'm around them quite a lot, so for them to constantly support me and constantly give me words of encouragement, and I mean, I guess it's inspiring. Like they do support me, and like I said, and even Chris Ball, I mean, that's one as well. Chris Ball, he's director of the EWS, and the amount of work and the amount of how busy he is as a guy and juggling everything, and I guess, I mean, yeah, he has played a big part in my junior days, and sort of bringing me up.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
where's Chris based then? Is he local to you, or?
He is, just outside Peebles, so probably 10-minute drive away.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I hate to be waffling on that question, but
no,
it's just
fine,
really,
man. It's
really
nice as well
for
to think about it. Like you're thinking about it. I was thinking about it. I was like, who inspires me? God.
Yeah, it's a real hard one.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. So we're gonna wrap it up with like your family and most importantly your dad and Chris, right?
Yeah, I mean, Chris has he's played. I mean, like I said, when I was a junior and a youth, 100%, like for sure. And Chris is like such a busy dude now with the Enduro World Series, and I just admire his work for sure.
Cool, awesome. Next one, got two more. I'm going to switch these around though because I think the other one's a really good one to end on. It came from Facebook, which is Simon Heath. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Simon. It is: does the pressure of competing at your level make the riding more or less enjoyable?
Okay, Simon, good question. I think, I mean, this year I didn't feel, a good example is for the first two rounds this year, I didn't feel any pressure. But because everything was going so good, I was enjoying myself, and everything was just naturally kind of clicking, and I was riding good. But I think at a professional level, if you're on, for example, a factory team or some sort of team, and they're maybe not going to accept bad results,
Yeah.
and maybe things aren't clicking for you, or you're nursing a bit of an injury, it's not fun racing at that high a pace or that high a level. Like, I think if someone said it was fun, we'd be lying to you.
Yeah. I think that's
like I said,
that can easily get forgotten too. Is that at the end of the day, like it's a job, you know, and it's like anyone who has a job, you've got a boss who wants you to ultimately perform and get results in. So, like you say, once you do get up that level, you're going to be required to do more.
I can say though, from downhill, or if I've been injured or I'm nursing a bit of an injury racing, it isn't fun racing 100% at such a high level and then being rewarded with, you know, a bog standard result. But if everything is clicking and you're getting the results that you should be and that you know that you're capable of, it's just as fun. And the pressure thing, I mean, that's totally up to the individual.
Would you say that you, like, personally, do you handle pressure quite good, or?
I think personally I do. As far as next year, like I said, things are new. But I know everything that I'm doing is right, and it worked for me this year. So, I mean, all I need is maybe just a bit of luck and stay off the ground, and I'll be good.
Yeah.
So.
No doubt you will, mate. No doubt you will.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Here's hoping. Last question, and a good ender, I reckon, came from Instagram and at Daniel MRRR. So I think it's Daniel Murr, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
Where would you like to finish in the EWS in 2017?
Ooh. I guess now that I've had a bit of a taster of EWS, I kind of. I mean, I would be stoked and I'd be happy with being inside the top 10 overall. I mean, I think this year, I mean, I can go back and say I think, but I mean, I would have, after doing rounds 1 and 2, coming into round 3 at Ireland, I had my eyes set on a podium. So, I mean, top 10 would be insane for me. I mean, that would be good.
A couple of podiums, then, you reckon, as well?
I don't know about that, but we'll see. I mean, there's no reason why not. But I mean, trying not to have a set goal. I mean, just kick off round 1 and see where I'm at. Whether that's 20th or 5th or wherever, it'll be what it'll be. But I would be happy with between 10 and 15 overall, and if anything's better than that, then of course I'll take that.
Awesome, that's good, man. Well,
yeah.
That's all the questions out of the way, man. I want to personally say a huge thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. And I personally as well want to wish you all the best. Like, it's been really cool insight into hearing your story. I've also enjoyed reading a bunch of articles online and learning about you, and you know, getting some stuff put together. It's always really cool. I want you to quickly, if you could, just do some social media shout outs. So if anyone out there wants to go follow Lewis, hopefully you all do. Where can they find out more?
You can follow me on Instagram at Lou Buchanan. Facebook page is Lou Buchanan Athlete.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay. I do have a personal page.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright. It's alright.
I didn't see the other one. My bad. Right, well, I'll link to those though. And cool. Twitter?
I'm not really on Twitter, but I think it's Lewis Buchanan 48.
It's dying, dude. It's dying.
I know.
I
say that. My dad's like, "Oh, you need to get on Twitter more," and I'm like, "Nah, Instagram's taking over."
Yeah,
so
I think so. I'm kind of, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, I handle all the social media over at Hookit, and it's like for what I see and the sort of stuff that we, the integration, engagement, I guess, that we get with people is always Instagram these days and Facebook. I think Twitter's got its place, but for us, like the Instagram and the Facebook are definitely the key things. Snapchat was on it for a little while, but that seems to have died off a wee bit. But yeah, for sure, everyone, there's going to be a link to Lewis's social media outlets in the comment section, so go give it a follow. And again, thank you very much, man. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
No worries. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Cool. Right. I'm going to leave you to it. Pleasure. All the best in 2017. And let us know what you might be going to be on to, man. I'm going to be looking out for that.
I will do. Thanks very much for having me on, man.
You take care.
You too. See you in a bit.
See you, brother. Bye. There we go, folks. That's episode 15 in the bag. Beauty. Really, really enjoyed that episode with Lewis. It was awesome to hear his story. Hopefully everyone out there did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget, leave us a review on iTunes. That is really important. If you could do that, it goes a long, long way. You wouldn't even believe how far that goes. It's helped us get into the bike section on iTunes, and it's helping the podcast grow. So just head over on iTunes on your laptop, leave a review, and just write a little review. Don't leave any 3-star ones. Come on, let's be real. 5-star if you can. And again, if you did enjoy it, please like and share on social media. Let Lewis know that you listened and that you enjoyed it, all that sort of stuff. It does go a long, long way. And also, last but not least, don't forget Boxing Day. We're going to give away a copy of Hurly Burly. They're almost sold out of these things, and we've got one of the last ones. So please don't forget Boxing Day. Sometime around 7. It depends how we're feeling. It's going to be around 7. We'll give a copy of Hurly Burly away. That's the book that Duncan Philpott was talking about in the last episode. We had a bunch of people message actually asking where they could grab a copy from. So we'll give a copy away to some lucky listener. That's it. Merry Christmas. Enjoy it. Peace out.